afternoon and welcome to the allotment. It's a lovely bright sunny day. It's the 7th of April and I'll just give you a quick tour of the plot before I start doing a few jobs. Okay, so we had a storm come through the other day, and if you remember, I did have all my sprouts growing in this part of the allotment, and the cage that covered it, there we go, got blown across the plot and the one part has been broken, so that's got to be fixed. So that's a job, not for today because I haven't brought the tools down with me, but that's a job to do. Since I last did a full video, I've done a few things on the plot. So down here, casting a shadow, I'll get the other side. You can see I've planted out the peas. So the row of peas, there we go, the row of peas in, and we're carrying across. The shallots are growing away well. This kale is being fed to my colleague's ducks and chickens, so he's having a piece most days. In the polytunnel, which is incredibly hot today, it's 30 odd degrees in here, you can see that's the tray that the peas were in, so I've got to start another set of peas. That'll be later this week. I'll come over to the top bed. The garlic and onions are growing away. They'll need water before I leave today. And come down this main bed, you can see the spuds have grown away. I've topped up the other potatoes. I've got some onions, ignore the weeds. I've got some onions, the wife stocks. The carrots are growing away. I've got some tomato plants there that have been potted on recently. I've got and brought down to the polytunnel. And in the bottom bed, you can see all the lettuce I've planted on, or planted out last week. And then on the swinging shelf up there, hopefully you can see I've got the sweet peas growing away and cabbage and cauliflower. They'll be desperate for water before I leave today. Okay, so the job to do today is to plant the first early potatoes. Okay, so the first thing to do is to drop a line in. We've got a label. Put the label in. And then drop the potatoes in. The variety is Pentland Javelin. So just adjust the spacing a little bit. So I've spaced them quite a distance apart. And now it's just a case of dropping them in. This plot of land at the top here is the one I'm going to use for all the potatoes this year. So the potatoes are being dropped in around 6 inches deep, covered up, and then they're going to have some straw put on top of them, the used rabbit bedding. That's the first row done. Move down, put the second row in. This whole area was covered with used rabbit bedding through the winter. I have had to turn the soil over because there was a bit of weed coming through, but generally it wasn't too bad. Okay, one thing I forgot to get was some row markers, so just put these canes in so we can see where the rows start and finish. So that's the first 2 rows of potatoes planted. Like I said, they're Pentland Javelin, so all it remains for me to do now is to get these covered over, but I've got a few days I can do that, so I'm not going to cover them straight away. Just going to get the rake them over, and then they can get covered in the next few days. If you saw my video last year, you'll know that I covered these with straw. The only reason I make a bit of a rake up, like I've earthed them up, is just to make it a bit clearer where the row is initially. If you remember last year, I had on this particular area, I had the sweet peas growing and the runner beans. So those are where these 2 rows are. I did have potatoes down here, but I'm going to put another 3 rows of potatoes in down here. They'll be main crop a little bit later. So that's all I need to do for today. I'll leave them. I will give them a bit of a water, but that's it for today. Okay, so I've put the potatoes in, and that's the sort of main job for today. Had a little tour around. Got lots more to do now as the season really starts to get going. But I'll say goodbye for now. Bye.